Alright guys, welcome back. We are playing Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 2, Watanagashi. Did we read the tips last time? I think we did. We did. What were they again? Let me make sure I'm all caught up here. Oh yeah, it was stuff about Kimiyoshi. Yeah, okay. We're good. I got it all down. Got it all down. Gonna try and go through this whole next chapter today. Hopefully we have enough time. I don't know how long it's gonna be. Some of the chapters and Onikakushi were like 2 hours long, so I don't know. I guess we'll see. But last time, of course, we had a conversation with Shion on the phone. We learned about Kimiyoshi, who's missing for some reason. I don't know. I've been thinking about it and how weird it is. It reminds me of like well, I mean, kind of unrelated, not really though. Just Mion being the one who wasn't really like the ringleader of looking for Kimiyoshi, but just her calling for like a status update and stuff on finding him, all of that stuff. It just like changes my perception of her so much. Like, obviously we already knew how powerful the Sonozakis were and how like important Mion is because she's taken over the family next, but I don't know, it just maybe it's like she wasn't, like, I guess it could just be that she's, taking part and looking for Kimiyoshi, and that's all it is, but it seemed much more so that she had, like, an authoritative position over those people she was talking to, so, I don't know, it's just weird to me. It just, like, makes me think about, like, some of the lines in the first, chapter of this game. I just remember there were a bunch of lines about how, like, Mion was the puppet master pulling Keiichi's strings and stuff. Like, when they all pulled their tickets and they were all in the, like, each member of their group were in separate groups, for the game they played at the toy shop. I don't know. It just makes me think of stuff like that. And, like, I guess I don't really know what to make of that. Like, I don't know. It just makes me think of Mion differently, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to come around to the believing that everyone's an evil psychopath. But, who knows? There was no way I'd be able to sleep. When she hung up the phone like that, I realized for the first time what kind of situation I was in, as well as who the only ally who would support me was. I waited with bated breath for Shion to calm down and call me back. I don't think you're in a situation where you have an only ally who will support you. Like, I don't know, I think you have multiple people who will support you, so... What would I do if the phone rang while I was sound asleep? No matter how long I waited, however, it never rang. Exhausted, whenever my mind started to wander, I would jolt awake as though I heard the phone ring. In the end, I brought the cordless phone with me into my futon and went to sleep with it in my arms. Though it still didn't amount to anything. Morning came, and by that time, I was pretty sure she wasn't calling back. He just stayed up all night. Like, I'm concerned. That was when a fierce drowsiness assailed me. Yeah. It's not. I think yeah, it's morning time now, so I guess it's not anymore. You missed your chance on that one. I slapped myself in the face a few times. Great. Good. Then, I went to the washroom and washed my face, which was something I usually didn't do. That wasn't enough, either, so I even brushed my teeth. Shocking. After that, I was finally wide awake. When Mom saw how strange I was acting, her eyes went wide. I feel so bad for Keiichi's mom. How about we talk... Yeah, let's talk to Rina. Let's talk to Rina. Like, he has no reason to think Rina's evil, right? Like, that's just not it. There's no reason. Like, I guess here's what he could think. He could think that, Rina's a member of the village, so I guess he could convince himself that if he told her anything about what's happening, she would hate him too for going into the storehouse and all that stuff, right? Like, I guess he could think that. He probably is going to think that. But please talk to Rina. Please, just like she's... Like, come on, please. Okay, alright. And I wish we would get like a Rena update on like Mion's feelings and stuff too after everything that's happened. Like I don't know. I don't know. Like I wonder if Mion has talked to Rena again, because I feel like stuff has just gotten worse. Like Keiichi leaving during the festival, her obviously knowing that Keiichi was with Shion. I felt utterly shattered, and I still hadn't picked myself back up this morning. And for precisely that reason, Rena's honest smile was a sight for sore eyes. No kidding.
Yo.
What's up, Mion? What's going on?
Kei-chan ni Rena. Ohayo.
She not getting any sleep last night either? Mm-hmm. Mion had gone home early yesterday with a hangover, but she didn't look too good this morning either. The usual cheerfulness was completely buried in shadow.
寝たの3時ぐらいだからね。
Oh man.
眠い。
3時？昨日に続いてか？おいおい、夜更かしにも限度ってもんがあるぞ。大方漫画の単行本が面白くなっちゃって、一巻から読破してしまったんだろ。
I've done that. I did that with Takapi's original Sen. I don't know, you guys ever read that? It's pretty good. I found out it exists. It's pretty short. It has like 8 chapters or something, so I just read all of them, and I stayed up till like 4 a.m. It was a very bad decision.
俺にも経験があるぞ。
I joked, trying to shake off my sleepiness. I was trying to be considerate. However, neither Mion nor Rena smiled. In fact, they didn't even pay attention. Oh, Rena's expression immediately darkened. Okay. Oh. Okay, yeah. I mean, that is why, right? I'm surprised Rena knows about that.
まだ見つかってないの？
おい、ちょっと待ってくれ。
How does Rena know, I wonder?
村長さんが見つかってないって。
Unless Mion just told
何
her.
の話だ？
Even the classroom, which is normally bursting with bright, joking voices, seemed filled with a different sort of murmur today. Oh, is it just like everyone in the village knows Keiichi's the weird one for not knowing?
おはようございます、ケイイチさん。
What is up, Sadako?
聞きました？
Ooh.
なんだか大変なことになりましたね。
Okay, don't say it like that.
俺はその村長さんって人をよく知らないんだが、ジジイなんだろ？ボケて徘徊してるだけじゃないのか？
Well, I guess.
村長さんはボケてなんかいませんでした？
Yeah, I don't think he would be the mayor if he has Alzheimer's.
お習字も教えるし、剣道も教える、はつらつな方でございますの。
So he's like the principal.
僕と同じで、きっとどこかで迷子なのですよ。
Like you.
迷子いいね。はう、お持ち帰り。
Getting lost is only cute because children like Rika-chan do it. A worn-out old man getting lost isn't moe in the slightest. Yeah, it's very concerning, especially right after Watanagashi. While my mind entertained dumb thoughts like that, our teacher arrived. I guess I'm trying to think, like, what it could possibly be. Like, what? I mean, we don't know anything about the mayor, like, at all, right? Like, I guess if I want to be completely insane and theorize about nonsense, I could say that, like, Kimiyoshi's the mayor, the Sonozakis are very powerful. I mean, like, I guess I could imagine they would have some reason to want the mayor to disappear. I feel like that's way too far, though. It's not like we've gotten any, like, hint that that would be happening, right? So, I don't know. I just have no idea. I don't know. Everyone rushed to their seats.
皆さん、おはようございます。
Good morning. The class greeting was normal, but the atmosphere in the room was heavy.
すでに聞いている方もいるかもしれませんが、昨日の夜、村長さんが夜遅くになってもお家に帰ってこなかったのだそうです。
I just don't know. I just don't know at all.
皆さんの中で昨日村長さんを見た人はいますか？
Like what? We just don't know anything about this dude. Like I just have no idea. One or two hands went up in the silence, and they told her about having seen him. None of it seemed to be vital information, however, and everyone began whispering amongst
も
themselves.
しも村長さんを見かけた人は大人の人に教えてあげてくださいね。それでは授業を始めます。
After that, the same old lessons began. Okay. Surely we're gonna have a game after school today, right? Come on. Oh, we aren't. Never mind. We aren't going to. Never mind. Okay, it's lunchtime. It's only lunchtime. Maybe we will. I hear this music. I'm like, no, it's not happening. The rumors, once quieted, blossomed into flowers again at lunchtime. Keiichi and Mion need to sit down and have a long discussion. That's what I want to happen. I could hear a few different conversations. They were mostly related to the mayor's disappearance. Summing them all up, I came out with this. Yesterday evening, the mayor went to a meeting at the shrine's assembly hall. The meeting ended after the sun had fully set and everyone left. The elder's house was a bit far from the center of Hinamizawa. It was already late, and Hinamizawa doesn't have a lot of lights outside. Nobody saw the mayor after the meeting. However, because he would have been hungry, he wouldn't have taken any side trips. He would have gone straight home. However, no matter how long his family waited, he never returned. Some thought there might have been an accident. They left no stone unturned. They searched from the irrigation channels to the water wells, and even in the rice paddies, but they didn't find him. I mean, like... Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. I'm trying to think of, like, anything we've heard or anything we know that would give me any kind of insight into this at all. I can't think of anything. I don't know. Of course, there's a limit to how far they could search in the middle of the night. I mean, obviously, it, like, makes you think of, like, an Onikashi, right? Someone just disappearing, but, you know. I have my own theories about that. The police were going to wait for daylight, then have the young men of the town help search. If after all that they still didn't find him, they were apparently even going to go looking in the mountains. Even now, at this moment, the adults were probably all searching for him. The more they searched in vain, and the more time passed, the less likely it is you're going to find him. The only thing that came to mind was the curse. The rumors of Onikachi, of the demoning away. Had he become this year's sacrifice to Oishiro-sama's curse, which had recently been occurring every year? That scary possibility, which everybody thought about, but nobody could say aloud, was slowly but surely spreading throughout the village. Was he demoned away and offered as a sacrifice to quell Oishiro-sama's anger? I mean, maybe, but it's the day after Watanagashi. Like, all of the other ones happened on Watanagashi. I guess it is only the day after, but it feels like such a ritualistic, important thing for it to happen on Watanagashi that, I don't know, I don't want to say that it's an Onikashi at all. My classmates were whispering to each other that the curse didn't happen this year, so there shouldn't have been any sacrifices. Let alone, like, my own theory about Onikashi, that the person who gets Onikashi is, like, the one who, kills someone, is, I guess even though, again, it doesn't make sense, considering half of what we saw in Onikashi, just my thought is, like, someone is being affected by the crazy shit that made, like, Keiichi start going insane in Onikashi in the first game, right? And they killed someone, just like Keiichi did at the end, right, when he killed Ren and Mion. And I think Satoshi killed his aunt, right, because at that one, they told us that it was a random drug addict who killed her, which I don't believe. So, like, if that same thing happened to Satoshi, obviously there's the direct connection between Keiichi and Satoshi and how their actions were, like, the same. So if that same thing happened to Satoshi and he was the one who was Onikakshi'd, then it seems like, to me, the person who gets Onikakshi'd is the one who commits the murder. So, like, I don't think the mayor would have anything to do with that. And I guess as I'm saying that, like, obviously Keiichi himself doesn't fit with that either, because it didn't happen on Watanagashi. It happened, like, a week later, and then he ripped out his own throat. He didn't get Onikakshi'd, so. My classmates were whispering to each other that the curse didn't happen this year, so there shouldn't have been any sacrifices. I, on the other hand, I knew. The curse did happen again this year, and there were 2 people that died. This may sound strange, but I hadn't exactly thought that the elder would be the one to go missing. My reason was clear. Shion and I should have been higher priority than him. The 4 of us were thieves that broke the taboo and set foot into the sacred ritual storehouse. If Tomitake-san and Takano-san had suffered mysterious deaths, then it should have been my and Shion's turn next.
今度こそ俺かシオンの番なのにな。
I can't blame Keiichi for thinking like this. I just can't help but, like, think about how Keiichi always does this. He always likes to blame himself for things. He always thinks that there's, like, some grand arcing reason for why stuff should happen to him or is going to happen to him, or, like, I don't remember when it was. It was one of the times when Reno was being weird and he was screaming at her. And he was saying, like, what did I do to make you guys, like, have to do this to me? Like, even in Onikashi, when he didn't do anything, he still blamed himself for everything that was happening to him in Onikashi, Which, like, thematically, of course, like, I have kind of blamed him in the sense of, like, it's his separation from his friends and, like, his unwillingness to, like, open up with them that was, like, causing it, not, like, literally causing it, I think, but, like, in terms of those things being, like, paired in the story. In this case, like, I guess he did something, like, wrong, kinda, But I feel like, again, it's something that he's, like, blowing out of proportion again. He's decided that it's, like, making him an outsider, and that he's, you know, evil, and that everyone wants to kill him, I guess. He hasn't gotten that far yet, but you know what I mean. I laughed painfully to myself. I'd yelled at Shion over the phone that I didn't want to end up in such a terrifying situation, but now that someone other than me had disappeared, I could only think that I should have been the first to go. Onagashi, the bottomless swamp, said to have been the place where they drowned sacrifices long ago. Just as it ran through my thoughts, the villagers must have also considered the swamp. Maybe police divers were plumbing its depths even now. They probably wouldn't find anyone. They never found, they never found Rika's mom, right? Who left her suicide note by the swamp. Not a single missing person had ever been found. They'd always suspected Onagashi, but not once had they ever turned up a corpse from it. After all, it was a devilish, bottomless swamp from which no one sinks, from which no one who sinks can ever return. Yeah. Yeah. And the same with the main culprit of the dismemberment murder, right? They found his vehicle abandoned by the swamp. I could hear someone telling their friend that in the classroom... Wait, what? Okay. Wait, what? I could hear someone telling their friend that in the class... Okay, that's just a weird sentence. My bad. Oh, he left around this time last year. So did Satoshi not disappear on Watanagashi? If Satoshi didn't disappear exactly on the day of Watanagashi either, then maybe I'm just making a mountain out of a molehill. Maybe I'm making a mountain out of a molehill here. And it's not actually, like, it doesn't have to be literally on Watanagashi. Like, maybe the curse murder has to happen on Watanagashi, but not the Onikashi? Huh? Satoshi? I'd heard that name before. He was right. He disappeared because of last year's curse. The conversation was happening in the seat next to me, so I could hear it clearly. Onikashi. That's actually... I wonder if that's true. I mean, that's just like a rumor. So. And that him withdrawing his savings, I mean. Yeah, I mean, those just sound like rumors, so I'm not going to put too much stock into what this guy's saying. Ran away, huh? I wasn't that interested in the reason, which seemed understandable in his case. Everyone else who disappeared had their own reasons, too. I mean, to be fair, like, that's what Keiichi tried to do, right? Keiichi was just mindlessly running away after he murdered Rena and Mion. And if Satoshi did the same thing, I guess I can get it, right? Either they were still on the run because they were criminals, or they were a corpse that couldn't be found. It's not like any of them suddenly disappeared into thin air for no reason. But they disappeared. Someone disappeared whenever the curse took a life, as if by design. They may have had various understandable reasons, but they still disappeared. From that point of view, it really might have been a demoning away this time. The mayor's disappearance was the first such incident without a clear reason behind it. Of course, coming to that realization didn't help resolve anything. Hi, Rena. You know, Rena, I'm a-okay if you want to get this close. That's okay. Like, you want Shion, so it's fine. Like, when Shion was getting this close, there was an issue. But Rena, you can be here. Don't worry about it. Normally, Rena's lunch would have been devoured immediately, but today there was still a ton left. Oh, I mean, I imagine it's just Mion and Keiichi aren't eating very much, right? That wasn't because Rena's late lunch didn't taste good or anything, though. Sadako dips her chopsticks into Rena's bento box and pulls bits of food out, one after the other. What, does she not like those or something? Did Sadako dislike pumpkin? Regardless, she forced herself to smile and shoved more into her mouth. I don't think I've ever eaten pumpkin before. Everyone knew. Nobody's lunch tasted very good today. Sadako kept shoveling it down, repeating her remark on how good it was. Sadako was always the one who really tried to keep things together in Onikashi too, you know? She never really, Like, I don't know, I just remember, like, on those days when Keiichi just left, this, before they could play a game, right? She always called out to him, I guess.
あんまりにも美味しいので、ぜひケイチさんにも召し上がってほしいですわね。
She thinks she has a responsibility to eat it all.
たまには俺も年上らしい寛大さを見せないとな。
Yeah, you can eat all the pumpkin, Sadako.
よし、遠慮するな。今日は俺の分まで食ってよし。
That was a good one. She really, really hated pumpkin, didn't she? That made it all the more touching to see Sadako's own brand of generosity. I grabbed her head and started stroking it. Sadako, in a somewhat exaggerated fashion, was bawling, tears streaming down her face. Okay.
嘘だよ。そんなにうまいものを譲るほど大人にはなれないよ。レナも食え。俺のは夕べのおでんの残り物だが、おでんは一晩経ってからがうまいんだぜ。
お大根が綺麗な色に透き通ってて美味しそう。じゃあいただこうかな。
Not gonna be a needle in there, is there? Rena reached out with her chopsticks, and at last, the usual lunchtime atmosphere began to return. That was only at our desks, however. The dark tales of Oyashiro-sama's curse, which had recurred for 5 years in a row, didn't cease. The whole classroom remained stuck in this somber mood. Huh. Oyashiro-sama's curse had happened for 5 years straight. Everyone had wanted the previous year to be the last. What was Oyashiro-sama's curse anyway? They were going to build a dam in Hinamizawa. The people building it were bad, so they were cursed. I would admit that much. Still, the dam project was frozen years ago, wasn't it? I had to do something, my bad. Let me read those last few lines again real quick. Okay, yeah, just the curse stuff. Yeah. So why was the curse stubbornly persisting? I hit myself on the cheeks to perk myself back up. Everyone was trying so hard to brighten the mood. I couldn't go straight back to thinking about the curse like that. I forced the grim story out of my head. Driving Oyashiro-sama's curse out of my thoughts was actually a good idea. In the end, that meant I could also be driving away the most terrifying thought of all, that I would be the curse's next target.
しかし、ミオンは遅いな。
Where is she?
あいつのお手洗いってこんなに長いのか?
Oh god. And where's Rika? Mion had said she was going to wash her hands and left, but she hadn't come back yet.
多分どっかでお昼寝してるんだと思う。
Oh, she is exhausted, that is true.
夕べはきっと遅くまで村長さんを探すお手伝いをしてたんだと思うから。
I smiled wryly and let out a sigh. Today was no good. However much we tried to lighten the mood, things always came back to the mayor. It was just a no-good day. I had just transferred here recently, so the shock of a curse happening 5 years running was an unimaginably big one. Maybe I do need to appreciate that.
村長さんはね、ちっちゃかった頃、みーちゃんのことをすごく可愛がってくれたんだって。
Okay, sorry, I just wanted to reread that.
いたずら盛りのみーちゃんをすごく可愛がってくれたって。
Okay. So probably never mind that stuff I said about the Sonozakis being behind it.
よく話してたな。
But you never know. I see. Mion was in shock too. Someone disappearing at all because of a curse was a very scary thing. If the sacrifice was someone you knew, though, then the shock must be 100 times worse. Sadako, as if she'd come to the same conclusion, bit her lower lip and looked downward.
そういえば、リカちゃんも遅いな。ひょっとして、リカちゃんも仲良くお昼寝か?
リカはそんなに遅くまではお付き合いしませんでしたわ。リカがあくびをしたら、皆さんみんなして、おやすみなさいませ、おやすみなさいませって。
Of course, of course. Now that she mentioned it, there were a lot of old people rubbing their prayer beads in fervent gratitude towards Rika-chan during the festival too. An image of the indulgent elderly came to mind. Had Rika-chan discovered a way to get herself to be pampered like that? I mean, I think it's just because she's a Furude, right? She's one of them.
リカちゃんって何気に年寄りのアイドルだな。理想の孫娘像ってやつなのか?
But I guess Keiichi hasn't read the tips like we have, right?
そんなの知らない。
What? Why don't they tell her? I mean, tell him.
でもリカちゃんのあくびなら見てみたい。
Well, I guess Rena's gonna lose her mind, so.
きっとね、ふわーって。お持ち帰り。
Thank you.
そんなに可愛いとも思いませんけど。
That's gotta be a lie, Sadako. Come on.
喉の奥まで覗けるくらいの大あくびでしたよ。
No, no. Rena's gonna go insane.
リカちゃんの大あくび。
Runa's handy at times like these. I finally managed a heartfelt laugh. Oh right. I'm on day duty today, aren't I? I need to go water the flower garden. The garden is right outside the teacher's lounge too, so they can immediately tell if you don't do it right. Yeah, why don't you yawn for her, Sadako? She's being constricted. It's all over. Runa was strangling Sadako. I don't think that counts as yawning. You know, Runa is... I can't say it out loud, but she's a notorious... a censored, isn't she? Okay, moving on. Hearing Sadako make a weird noise like a chicken being strangled was kind of hilarious, and I couldn't help but laugh. At some point, the classroom had erupted into laughter too. Maybe Runa was doing it on purpose. Even if she wasn't, this nonsense was a welcome sight. Anyway, let's get over to the flowers while I still have time. Slowly and quietly, lest I destroy the room's newfound peace, I left the classroom. The watering can was hanging up outside the kitchen. I assume he's gonna run into Mion out here. This building had originally been an all-male forestry service building, so there was apparently nothing so thoughtful as a garden here before. When they decided to have a school share the space, they built one there as a modest gesture of appreciation. But well, the flower bed, it was a little longer than you'd expect. It went all around. It went all over the place. It was so big, one would need to refill the watering can 5 or 6 times to get it all done. I was doing this together with a kid who was also, thankfully, on day duty today. She was in the lowest grade though, and a full size smaller than even Rika-chan. I couldn't make a kid who would struggle just to lift the full watering can help me with this. If you were placed on day duty with someone who liked this sort of thing, they'd do it all for you though. For you, so it'd be cake. God, I can't read. Watering can in hand, just as I was about to leave the building, the old man from the forestry office addressed me. Oh? Oh god, he's gonna be out here all day. Oh, it's for the curry? You gotta be watering that, come on. It's definitely the personal garden of our curry-loving teacher, but making students responsible for its upkeep is getting them involved in her personal affairs. I couldn't say that to his face though, so I gave up and decided to carry out my day duties. The sunlight out front was strong. The great chorus of cicadas was strongly underlying how nothing was different today than yesterday. I passed by the classroom, and I don't know how it happened, but Runa and Sadako were in the middle of a huge melee. While I was gone, the kids had arranged all the desks in a circle, forming a ring, while everyone was cheering them on. I don't think Sadako has much of a chance. Yeah, that's how it should be. Once school ended, we would need to return to reality, where talk of the elder's disappearance would once again be all over the place. I wanted everyone to forget about everything and have fun, just like yesterday, if only while they were at school. In that sense, Sadako's whirling elbow and Runa's backwards flying spin kick made for a pleasant sight. Even if, as a result, they flipped over my desk. Ah, that's my pencil box. I'll just let it happen today. I set to work, hastily watering everything, wanting nothing more than to be done as soon as possible. That should do it. No sooner had I thought that than I remembered that I had to water the teacher's curry vegetable garden too. I agree. That thing should be watered first, if anything. I gave up, filled the can with water again, and headed behind the warehouse. This was a place students didn't like to go. It was always damp here, and you couldn't discard the possibility of slugs and pill bugs being around. Oh, hi Rika. So when I ran across her in a place like that, I was surprised. Rika-chan was just standing there like a puppet, devoid of life. Okay. I was the only one who was startled here. Rika-chan didn't even seem to react to my appearance. Finally, she noticed me. Oh, that is very abnormal. There was red under her eyes, stained with tears and dirt. There were blades of grass stuck in her hair too, and her clothes looked as if she'd fallen to the ground. What happened? I like how this expression on her is the most harsh we have ever seen, when it's like... What happened, girl? What's going on?
違うのです。
Rika-chan said in the brightest voice she could manage as she rubbed her eyes. She didn't look anywhere near normal, though. I mean, what? Has something to do with the mayor's disappearance? Something to do with what, all of them sneaking into the warehouse? I don't know.
何があったんだ？まさか倉庫の屋根の上で昼寝とかしてて落ちたとか？
僕のことはいいのです。
Okay.
それよりも、圭一に聞きたいことがあるのです。
She gonna ask him about the warehouse? Rika-chan walked over and clung to me. At first, I thought she was playing a trick on me. Eventually, however, I realized it was so that I wouldn't run from the question she was about to ask. I shuddered. Okay, it's so you won't run from the question. Keiichi, you need to get a grip. I don't believe you that it is so you can't run from the question. Like what?
俺になんだよ。
She looked straight into my eyes. Her upturned eyes bored right into me. It was as though they were trying to pull the answer out of my own eyes, without actually asking me the question. It was so scary. It was scary, so I averted my eyes from hers.
圭一、お祭りの晩に何か悪いことをしましたか？
I feel like you can tell her. Like, maybe I'm crazy. I don't, like... Are you really telling me that Rika would call the police and tell them to come execute Keiichi? Like, I feel like he can tell her, and it's fine. He needs to communicate. Like... But I know he's not going to. And I know that's just gonna make things worse. It's just gonna make everything worse, right? Like, just like in Onikashi, it was his lack of communication with everybody that made everything worse at all times. You know, just the more the communication between them broke down, the worse the crazy, insane shit happening to Keiichi got. So, the same thing is going to happen here. Like, he's not gonna tell her. My body gave a jolt from its very core. Rika-chan, who was clinging to me, might have felt my shiver. A nervous tingle crawled up my feet, and after going up on my back and freezing my entire body, it made its way into my brain.
圭一、
You can tell her.
本当に覚えはありませんか？
God. Just tell her, just tell her, just tell her, just tell her, just tell her. What do you think is gonna happen? What do you think is like, obviously they already know, right? Like, obviously they already know, right? So, what is the point in denying it forever, right? Like, my head began to throb. I don't understand anything. Okay, good. Yeah, why not, actually? Yeah. Mion asked me. Uishi-san asked me. Shion asked me. And Narika-chan was asking me. We thought nobody knew about what we did last night, but in fact, everyone knew. They all knew. And they came to ask me. In terms of, like, how they could possibly know, I don't know. But, like, obviously... I assume Rika had to go back to the warehouse to put the hoe up, right? So, and I'm just saying, like, when we met back up with all of them, it was after that had already happened, you know? I mean, like, I guess maybe Rika didn't go by herself. Like, I imagine, someone could have just taken it from her and went back there themselves. But no, but it's supposed to be that only people in, like, the Furude family are allowed to walk inside, basically, right? So I think Rika herself would have to go there to put the hoe up back in the warehouse after the festival. And again, by the time we met back up with them, that would have already happened. So, it's completely possible that she just knows through, like, normal means, right? That she literally saw them leaving or something, right? Again and again, until I admitted it. When I thought about it, it was pretty clear the whole thing was out in the open. After all, don't Tomitake-san and Takano-san's deaths prove it? So you should tell her. So you should tell her then. You should tell her then.
圭一、
How should I respond? We never should have entered the forbidden storehouse. And even though I regretted it so much, was she saying it wasn't enough? No, she's not saying, no, she isn't saying that at all. No, she's just asking, no, take anxiety medication. Just tell her. However, I had all but decided what I was going to say.
俺もそこが悪いからな。
Okay?
悪いことの覚えが多すぎて見当がつかないよ。
That's not the answer I wanted, Keiichi. I'm very disappointed in you. Just as I had with all the others, I evaded the question. Rika-chan stared up at me with innocent eyes. Like, the fact that he won't tell Rika means he's never gonna tell anyone. Like, I feel like there's still the chance he could tell Rena and it would be okay. Like, her eyes were so painful that I had to look away. After a few moments of mutual silence, Rika-chan released me. But what happened to Rika? Like,
変なことを聞いてごめんなさいなのです。
why was she back here crying?
忘れてくださいなのですよ。
And where's Mion? She said, smiling her usual smile. Then tap, 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 tap. She went running off as if nothing had happened. As she retreated in silence, I could feel her accusing me.
リカちゃん。
If she didn't hear my voice, then I was going to give up. However, she heard it. Big? Thank you? Rika-chan swiveled around and waited for me to continue. I was the one who had questions now. Still, asking any one of them... still, asking any of them could just be a half-assed way of admitting what I did. How about we have a full-assed way of admitting what you did? How's that sound?
なあ、リカちゃん。
Uh-huh.
はいなのです。
If everyone knows anyway, then I should be able to at least ask this, right? Why is everyone asking me about the night at the festival? That evening, had I done something that wrong? Like, it's just the same stuff he was thinking in Nonikashi. This is not good. I felt plenty sorry about it, and I had only looked, anyway. I didn't break anything or steal anything, really. Still, Tomitake-san and Takane-san, they died so miserably. Since those two had come to such an end, there's obviously no way it would forgive only me. Okay. Whatever. He's just stupid. He's dumb. He needs to get a grip. Rika-chan cutely tilted her head in confusion and waited for me to say something. If I were to admit what happened that night, though, she might suddenly do a 180, as if flipping a switch. What do you, she's gonna start killing you? She's gonna pull out a knife and stab you to death? What do you mean? That would make sense. Rika-chan was the shrine maiden. She was the least likely to forgive me for breaking the taboo, wasn't she? No, nope. Cause, here, she is your friend. Did you know that? Did you know that people, I don't think she's gonna throw you into the alligator pit for breaking the taboo. I just, oh my god. I'm gonna lose my mind. Upon reflection, would telling her be more terrifying than telling Mion or Rishi-san? No! What are you talking about? Rika-chan could just give up and leave, couldn't she? She didn't. She only was quietly waiting for me to say it myself. Say it, Keiichi Maibara. If you really are sorry, then you should say so. Exactly, right? Remember the apology thing? That strange thing about apologies that you thought about at the very beginning of the very first game? Of course, it's normal to hesitate, given the crazy way Tomitake-san and Takane-san died. A pulping machine called Chaos was grinding up my brain. That's a good quote. The juice wrung out of it turned into big droplets of sweat, which began to fall. Rika-chan suddenly straightened up, trying to pat me on the head. Okay, good. I had nothing to say to that. I lowered my head a little bit so Rika-chan's palm could reach it. She petted me, kind of like one would a cat. Okay. Let's be calm. Keiichi, let's not freak out. Let's be very calm, right? Surely Keiichi isn't gonna scream violently in the next frame. Okay. Please calm down. No, okay, chill, calm down. We gotta chill out here. We gotta, Keiichi, please, take a chill pill, please. My breath literally stopped. I mean, that's not a good sign. Rika-chan, though, wasn't acting in a coercive way at all. Yeah, it's not like she's telling you that if you step in, she's not holding a loaded gun to your forehead right now. Neko-san, huh?
Neko?
It's almost like she's telling him that she is gonna cover for him by saying that, you know? Rika-chan knew. She realized I was in fear. I could tell she was desperately trying to choose the right words so that she wouldn't scare me. So that's how everyone knew someone went inside, right? If they accidentally let a cat in with them. But that didn't happen, did it? I feel like they would have seen the cat, they would have mentioned it, you know? No, I don't think it's literally a cat. I think she's just... Yeah. The cat. It was clearly supposed to be talking to someone. Yeah. She's basically saying that she's... I don't know. It sounds like to me that she's basically saying she's going to cover for you. And you could tell her, like... Or wait, was it supposed to be me? Sorry, I didn't read that last line, did I?
実は中には猫さんが怖がるものがたくさんあったのです。
Rika-chan made a cute gesture, like a ghost was coming out to frighten me.
猫さんはびっくり仰天。一目散に逃げ出してガタガタブルブルニャーニャーで大変なのです。
その猫が誰だって言うんだ。
It was just a cat, come on.
猫さんは猫さんです。ニャーニャー。
Rika-chan still avoided saying it. The cat, though, was without a doubt me.
リカちゃん、頼む。その猫さんは
Okay.
これからどうしたらいい？
Maybe it was a desperate question to ask. I'd sort of admitted to being the cat.
猫さんは猫さんですから、ニャーニャー泣いてるだけで大丈夫ですよ。
Okay. Yeah, I'm down with it. Okay, sounds good to me. I feel like Keiichi's worries are probably pretty unfounded. I think we might be okay, like as long as we act like a normal human and we don't start carrying a bat around and kill people with it. I feel like we're gonna be a-okay. So, like, let's chill out.
大丈夫って、そんないい加減
Okay,
な。
what do you mean?
ニャーニャー泣いてるだけではダメなのですか？
Geez, Rika-chan and I have put together an entire conversation, using cat as a code word. I didn't say it directly, but I had already admitted it. I didn't want to end up like those two. I didn't want to be a sacrifice, like Shion said. That's what I thought, so I stubbornly remained silent. But now, that's enough.
泣いてるだけじゃダメなんだ。猫さんがいたずら心で忍び込んだのを犬さんが見てたんだよ。
Is Mion the Inu?
犬さん。
そうだ、犬さんなんだ。猫さんのところへ代わる代わるやってきて、
Or I guess, not
忍び込んだだろうって問いただしてくるんだ。
not just Mion, but I guess just anyone, I guess, right? Mion and Oishi and, yeah. After I said that, Rika-chan's expression clouded over. She was trying to hide it, but I'd already noticed her eyes darkening.
リカちゃん、
The silence was frightening, so I spurred her on. At that point, Rika-chan grinned.
大丈夫ですよ。
Okay,
猫さんは僕が守ってあげます。
okay. We're good, we're fine. Everything is a-okay. Keiichi, you can relax, everything is fine. Huh? I thought for a moment that I misheard those words, so dependable they were.
猫さんはとても怖がっていますが、本当はそんなに大変なことではないのです。
Okay.
何匹かの犬さんがきっと勘違いしてるだけなのだと
Yeah.
思います。
And I think Keiichi is misunderstanding the dogs as well. Like, I still don't know if... Like, obviously, I feel like it's the murders that are the more important thing here. Because them going into the storehouse was kind of something that immediately predated Takano and Tomitake being brutally murdered. So, I feel like on Oishi's side, at least, that's what he's asking about. Maybe even on Mion's side, I feel like this whole idea that it's something that Keiichi is gonna get thrown into the swamp for is like something that Keiichi has made up in his own mind. Like,
そんなに大変なことじゃないって。
猫さんの心配しすぎなのです。
okay.
僕がきっと何とかしてあげますですよ。
Okay, sure. Sounds good. Sounds awesome. Rika-chan will do something about it? I don't even know left from right at the moment, so Rika-chan didn't look all that dependable.
ちょっと大変ですけど、頑張りますですよ。
I'm sure you can. Why were you back here crying, though?
ファイト、王なのです。
Come on, like, you can't... Like, there's no way after you hear that, Keiichi. You're just gonna, like, not go for it, yay. Like, come on. She clenched her fist and stuck it into the air. I don't know why they don't just translate that as fight on, you know, like...
ちょっと大変ですけど、頑張りますですよ。ファイト、王なのです。
Like, why translate it as go for it? Why not fight on? You know, I don't know. Rika-chan said that the cat can just keep me out. She said to leave it all to her. Is that really all it took to resolve this whole thing? I don't know if there is something you need to resolve. Like, you're fine.
本当にリカちゃんで大丈夫なのか？
僕が頑張らないと 犬さんも大変なことになってしまうかもしれないのです。
Okay, I feel like that part of the conversation I am not understanding. I had no idea what Rika-chan was talking about anymore. She had been talking to me under the assumption that I was aware of certain things. So at first, I understood her. Around the middle, though, I stopped understanding anything. However, one thing I did know was... Oops, I skipped that line. To not worry, and to leave it to her. Rika-chan straightened up once again, patted me on the head, and smiled. So, what do you mean something bad could happen to the dogs? Like, what? I mean... I guess if I want to be crazy and I really want to theorize in like an insane way here, like let's say the person who dies from the curse every year is the one who does something like what Keiichi did, or like what Tomotaki and Takano did this year, right? That's someone who in some way disrespects Yashiro-sama or disrespects the village or something like that. You know, that seems to be kind of like a general connection we have, right? So they're the cats, right? And then we could say the dog is like the one who tries to punish them for what they did. Which reminds me again back to my idea that the person who kills the person through the curse is the one who gets onikakshi'd every time, right? Like Satoshi. Like that's what I'm saying is like, was Keiichi, like, were Rina and Mion in the first game and Onikashi, were they like the dogs, you know? And Keiichi was the cat, right? And something bad did happen to Rina and Mion, through that, you know. I guess same with like Satoshi, right? If Satoshi was well, no, because Satoshi was weird, right? Because it's like he was the outsider. But I guess not. I don't know. No, he wasn't an outsider, right? He had lived in Hinamizawa. I don't know what I'm thinking. It was his aunt. His aunt was like punished for some reason. I mean, she was the brother. I mean, she was the wife of the brother of the dam supporter, which is like a bizarre connection. But let's say if she was the cat and Satoshi was the dog, well, something bad did happen to the dog in that case too, right? So, I don't know. I don't know if that's what she's getting at. I was so moved by that reassuring feeling that I couldn't help but start to cry.
ごめん。
Thank you.
猫さんも本当にちょっとしたいたずらのつもりだったんだ。こんなことになるなんて全然。
I wonder how much Rika knows about what he knows already.
猫さんは臆病すぎです。だから見せたくなかったのです。
Mm-hmm. She was right. It was far too shocking for someone to see based on a little bit of interest alone. That's why they made it so difficult to look at in the first place, wasn't it?
リカちゃん。その猫さんはどうなるんだろう。
Just back to like my general idea about what the entire story is like an analogy for in general, I guess. It's just like, just this line here, it just reminds me like, what we've been doing in both of these games has been like, Keiichi has looked too far into like what Hinamizawa is, and he's been like disillusioned by it and like freaked out, and he thinks it's like evil and crazy, right? And I guess like, in my mind, I feel like that's like, you were meant to like transpose that onto like his relationships with other people too, right? Like, as Keiichi started looking too much into like Rina's past in the last game, he started getting terrified and thinking that she was like an evil monster, like that crazy scene where he was thinking about her beating him to death with a bat, So like, I guess I don't really know like where we're going with that like general idea. I don't know if like the message is gonna be like, oh, you shouldn't like look too deeply into someone's like secrets if they or they're trying to hide them from you or something. I don't know. I'm just saying it's like clear to me that like looking into his Hinamizawa too much and becoming disillusioned by it is clearly linked to Keiichi and his relationships with everyone in the club. And I think this line going along with that is interesting, right? Keiichi's too much of a scaredy cat, so he never should have seen the storehouse, right? It's not like the storehouse itself is the problem. It's not the secrets of the village or the secrets of people in Keiichi's life, his friends, right? It's that he is too much of a scaredy cat. Which makes sense to me, I guess.
忍び込んだ2匹の猫さんがそのあの晩に
I'd heard Tomitake-san and Takano-san's deaths were being kept a secret. Rika-chan might not have known about it. I'm sure she does, right? Oh, maybe she doesn't, actually. I don't know.
富武と高野ですか？
Yeah. I give a start at the sudden mention of actual names, though it's weird to do that at this point.
忘れると良いのです。
Okay, alright, I don't, okay. Rika, I feel like you might have just undone all of your your good graces you gained here. In terms of, like, Keiichi's mind, right? You know? Like, I don't think that's... I think Keiichi is gonna go insane again, unfortunately. My spine froze again.
忘れる
はい。あの二人のことを思い出すことは、圭一にとって良くないことなのです。
It's over. It's all over.
考えれば考えるほど怖くなるだけです。
Uh-huh.
だから早く忘れた方がいいのです。
She said something so enormously terrifying, without letting the smile on her face waver at all.
どこで聞いたかわかりませんが、きれいさっぱりお風呂でゴシゴシするみたいに忘れちゃうと良いのですよ。
Okay, but like, here's what I'm thinking here, right? I think this is Rika's position on the matter, because Rika, like, her own parents died, right? You know, like, Rika's entire family died from the curse. So I guess her position on this kind of thing being to just forget about it and not think about it, I guess that, like, makes sense, right? Like, again, if I'm not going to think that everyone's an evil psychopath, then I'm going to assume that Rika, just like a normal human being, losing her family when she was like 10 years old or 9 years old or however old she is, I would, like, destroy your mind forever. So if her, like, coping mechanism with that was to just forget about it and pretend it never happened, right? And that's why it's like it's never brought up, right? Keiichi just learned that her family died, certainly not from her or anyone around her, just through, like, outside means, you know. Then her, yeah, this being her position on the matter, like, makes sense to me. Of course, Keiichi is going to take it as, like, her saying that they're gonna, you know, tie him to an electric chair. But, like, I'm going to take a much more, like, positive approach towards why this would be her mindset.
忘れるって言ったって、リカちゃんは知ってるんだろう。あの二人がどういう死に方を。
I don't think you should say that.
どんな死に方をしても、それは圭一とは関係のないことなのです。
True. Oh god. Rika declared this in a flat voice. Nothing to do with me. So forget about it. The girl before me, she was innocent and lovable, and even seemed trustworthy, but suddenly she took on another dimension. Don't get involved with their deaths. I'll help you, Keiichi. Those two contradictory statements twisted and distorted my image of the girl in front of me. I don't think it's contradictory. I don't think it is.
シオンはあいつはどうなるんだ。
It might have been dangerous to mention Shion's name, but I couldn't stop myself from asking. Rika-chan saw through everything anyway. There was no way I was going to fool her or keep anything from her at this point.
姉妹猫の妹ですか？
Oh god.
にゃーにゃー。
Mm-hmm. Cats. Yes.
妹猫だ。
Rika-chan appeared to think upon this for a moment. It was hard for me to endure even this momentary silence.
姉猫は怒ってます。
Mm-hmm.
妹猫が悪いことをしたので。
Yeah.
姉猫って。
That could only mean Mion. I recall being questioned by her yesterday.
圭一、姉猫はとても機嫌が悪いです。
I believe that, yeah.
しばらくの間、そっとしてあげてほしいなのです。
So you're telling me we're not gonna have a game tonight? Today after school? Not in a good mood. Those words sent a shiver through me. Mion was mad. Well, I don't even think that's it. I think it's like she's mad at you for Shion-related reasons. I don't know about this, like, I guess, but...
今日から部活はなしにしましょう。
Oh god.
なんでだよ。
そっとしてあげてほしいからなのです。
Okay. Rika-chan ended her sentence with such force that I couldn't say anything in response. This is very interesting that it's almost like Rika is taking a adversarial position compared to Mion, you know? Hey, Keiichi Maibara, don't disobey Rika-chan right now. She's the only one who said she'll help me right now. I'll leave things to her, just as she said to. I mean, she even said that the cat should just keep meowing. I'll forget everything, like she said. I'll leave everything to her. I'll forget everything about Takane-san and Tomitake-san and what I did that night. Okay. You didn't finish watering the garden. Just then, we heard a bell far away, marking the end of our lunch break.
じゃあ校舎に戻ろうか。
Now she's probably gonna stay here standing behind the shed and crying.
圭一、
Mm-hmm. As if she had noticed how miserable I was, about to leave everything to her and flee the scene, Rika-chan called out to stop.
勘違いの犬さんが 猫さんに噛みつこうとしたら知らせてくださいね。
Okay. I would much rather have Rika on Keiichi's side than Oishi-san. Right, I feel like she's a much better ally to have than Oishi-san was in Onikashi, right? How did it work out for Keiichi in Onikashi with Oishi-san as his only ally? So, Rika is great. I love her. So, that's gonna freak Keiichi out, though. The misunderstanding dog. She put it in such a cute-sounding way, but the true meaning behind those words was an eerie one.
勘違いの犬さんって なんだ
Mion?
村長を噛んだ犬さん
Oh,
です。
no? Okay, right. Because, like, she was calling Mion the big sister cat. So, in her terms, I guess Mion isn't a dog. The dog is the one who bit the mayor. So then who is the dog? Oishi?
どうして村長を噛んだのか僕には分かりません。噛むならいたずら猫さんを先に噛むはずなのにです。
Oh god, he's gonna lose his mind for saying that. The flow of blood in my body felt like it completely stopped for a moment. Rika-chan had admitted it. The sacrifices of that terrible calamity. She admitted that if they were to happen again, it would be Shion and I. Okay, like, kinda. I mean, like, I feel like we're really extrapolating a lot about what dog means and, like, what they actually did and, like, what, like, I don't know. I don't know if she admitted that. I don't know. I don't know if I agree. I didn't know what was true about the girl standing before me. My suspicion gave way to fear, and nearly began to change into anger. Was she a savior who would protect me, or a stranger trying to capture and kill me for the sake of a horrible tradition? It is the former and not the latter. I'll help you out on that one. There you go. I had no idea what was true.
ごめんなさいなのです。猫さんが怖がっているのにまた怖がるようなことを言ってしまいました。
Very
ご
true.
めんなさいなのです。
Rika-chan bowed so quickly it looked like her head had been pulled downward. She was right. I was cowering. I could distinctively feel my body shaking violently. So when Rika-chan reached out her hand to pat me on the head, I pulled away without thinking. Oh god.
ごめん
Rika-chan made a very sad face, but I just couldn't bring myself to put out my head for her again. Oh no. That day, Rika-chan said she wasn't feeling up for club activities, so she suggested we don't bother. There's always vetoes when someone doesn't feel up to it. Rona and the others seemed really disappointed. The big sister cat is not in a good mood. I remember Rika-chan's words, and quietly stole a glance at Mion's expression. If I could forget the way she questioned me yesterday, though, her behavior was the same as it always was. Okay. That was quite the scene, wasn't it? I don't know, like... We're gonna get the sad music right now, I can already tell. No? Silence? What's gonna happen the rest of the day? Are we gonna talk to Shion again? That would be very nice if we can reconnect with Shion. So what happened to the mayor? Right, what happened to the mayor? The dog bit the mayor. Obviously we don't... I mean, like, I feel like we're having a bit of a disconnect in terms of what dog means. Because I thought Mion was a dog. But Mion's the big sister cat, so... I mean, the other dog I would think is a Wishi. Who would be a dog, though? Who else would be a dog, you know? Like... I don't know. After dinner, without the energy to watch TV, I climbed into the futon in my bedroom and let my head be overtaken by gloomy thoughts. I told Rika-chan anything and everything. She had seemed trustworthy at the time, but had that really been the right choice? The more I looked back on it, the less I understood what Rika-chan was saying. Not only did she know about Takano-san and Tomitake-san's deaths, but she spoke of them as if she were a concerned party. After all this time in my futon, I began to tremble fiercely. Had I been lured in by Rika-chan's sweet smile and told her things I shouldn't have? Okay, she already knew. Everyone already knows. Everyone knows everything that you did, so give it up. And two, no, that didn't happen. I should have continued to feign ignorance. Nope. I shouldn't have shown her such a weak side of me. My emotions are a mix of regret and fear, and it colored the darkness of the night with an additional layer of terror. Suddenly, a knock. I might have yelped. That's how surprised I was. I hope it's Rena. Damn it.
さっきから呼んでるぞ。電話だ。
Oh, Shion?
園崎さんから。
He's gonna think it's Shion. It's gonna be Mion. He's gonna think it's Shion. He's gonna answer and be like, oh, Shion, I'm so sorry for everything I said to you. And it's actually gonna be Mion, and Mion's gonna be like, oh, Keiichi, what are you talking about? You were talking to my sister? That's what's about to happen right now. It was Dad. I reached out for the cordless phone through the gap in my door.
園崎さんってどっち？
Okay, don't say that.
妹？
そんなのは知らん。自分で出て聞きなさい。
I took the receiver and buried myself in the futon again.
もしもし、ミオンか？シオンか？
私です。シオンです。
Are we sure? Are we sure it's you? Are we sure it's Shion?
こんばんは。
I practically jumped out of bed. It was Shion, who I'd hoped so desperately would call me back last night.
シオン！その、ゆうべは。
What if it's Mion? But what if it's Mion? Like, it could just be Mion pretending to be Shion, right? Like,
つい興奮して。
I heard what sounded like a deep sigh on the other
俺も
end.
シオンも同じ立場なんだよな。一方的に責めるような言い方をして悪かった。もうしない。謝るから機嫌を直してくれ。
機嫌を直したから電話したんです。後悔したなら許してあげます。
Okay.
もう謝るのをやめてください。
I really hope this is actually Shion. Shion's tone still sounded a little angry, but for the moment she said she'd forgive me.
ケイちゃんの言うように、私たちは運命共同体なんです。互いの無事の確認が自分たちの安全の唯一の保証なんです。
Mm-hmm.
ああ、それについては同感だ。
だから私たちは互いの知っている情報を共有する必要があります。
I don't like that.
坂野さんたちみたいな死に方をしないために。
Gulp. I forced myself to swallow a solid drop of saliva.
昨日の続きを話します。もう怒らないで聞いてくれ。
Okay, maybe it's okay. Maybe it is Shion. I mean, every single time I'm always gonna think it's Mion and not actually her. So, I mean.
ああ、大丈夫だ。
まず私たちが思っている以上に最後殿に忍び込んだことは禁忌、タブーだったみたいです。
Okay, I guess Shion knows stuff. I'll just accept that this is Shion and we'll be okay. Takano-san and Tomitake-san's miserable ends, terrible enough that you could call them a warning. They were more than enough to make me believe that.
犯人たちは最後殿を怪我した首謀格のあの二人を殺し、次に私たちを狙い。
Who are the culprits? Who are we talking about now? Who?
否定したいでしょうが、これを認めてください。失踪してから認めてももう遅いんですよ。
わかってるって。用心に越したことはないからな。
Like, is she gonna say it's like Rika or something? That would be like, imagine what Keiichi would do if now he has to like start doubting Rika and everything she just said to him. I don't know.
本当は認めたくありません。あんな拷問道具の博覧会を覗き見したことがあんな殺され方をする理由になるなんて絶対に信じたくない。
That's what a taboo is. For those who honor it, if one breaks the taboo, no matter how small or innocent their intentions were, they wouldn't be forgiven.
互いに何か気になることがあったら報告し合いましょう。
Okay.
互いの持つ小さな断片を合わせていけば、ひょっとすると高野さんたちを殺した、いえ、今年の事件に限らない。
Oh god, I
過
guess.
去の連続事件を解決する鍵が見つかるかもしれません。
そうだな。確かにそうだ。
All I was doing was waiting in fear, but Shion had already thought that far ahead. Given how trustworthy she felt, I became embarrassed over how passive I was being.
では、まずは言い出した私からいきます。
Please do. I would really like to hear what you know.
最近、誰かに監視されているような気がします。
Okay.
と言っても、気のせいかもしれません。
We have had some unfortunate imagination-related issues, except it wasn't your imagination. You were hearing some weird thing.
でも、一応報告します。今は気のせいだと思っていますけど、もしもケイちゃんも同じように誰かに監視されているように感じるなら、
And like obviously the whole idea of being watched reminds me of like the weird thing behind Keiichi, right? And Onikashi.
これは気のせいじゃないのかもしれませんから。
そういうことなら安心しろ。少なくとも俺の方は大丈夫だ。
So is he gonna tell her everything that Rika said to him? I think. As I spoke with Shion, I thought back on today. I had no grounds to say that everything was
そう
fine.
ですか。 では気のせいということにしますが、ケイちゃんも注意してください。特に一人で表を歩くときは細心の注意を払ってくだ
Yeah.
さい。私は沖宮ですから、一人きりになることはそうそうありませんが、ケイちゃんはひなみ沢です。一人ぼっちになることも多いはずです。特に注意してください。
Mm-hmm.
そうだな。あ、気をつけるよ。
I recruit the Rena bodyguard.
お姉
Like,
なんですが、何か変わった様子はありませんか？
uh-huh.
おねってミオンのことか。変わった様子ってどういうことだ？
先日、私、
Man.
お姉に渡流しの夜の所在について問いただされました。
え？それは俺もだよ。一昨日かな。ミオンに聞かれた。
やっぱりですか。私は言ってないと答えました。ケイちゃんは？
同じだよ。
Hmm.
ごまかした。
Both of us gave a quiet sigh of relief. Wait, what did she say? Oh, okay. Well, no. Shion said she wasn't there. Keiichi dodged the question like an idiot and mumbled like a dumbass for a minute straight, so...
渡流しの晩以降、お姉の様子はおかしいです。用心に越したことはありませんので、注意してくださいね。
I just can't help but think that it has to have much more to do with the Keiichi-Shion relationship than anything they did at the storehouse. Mion was acting strangely. Aside from her asking me about the night of Watanagashi, she hadn't seemed too out of the ordinary. At least from my point of view. Her twin sister, though, was saying she was acting weird. Maybe it was such a slight change that a stranger like me wouldn't be able to
わかっ
notice.
た。少し用心するよ。帰り道は必ずレナも一緒だから、二人きりになるってこともそうそうないしな。
用心してください。気になることがあったら教えてください。
Okay, I was worried she was gonna tell him not to trust Rena, but...
わかった。
では、ケイちゃんの方では何か私に話すことはありませんか？
Shion, did you give him your number yet? Remember how he doesn't have her number? I hope that happened during that black screen there. That's right. Maybe I should report on Oishi-san asking me the same question at the library.
ケイちゃんが逃げ遅れたあの時の話ですね。
ああ、大石さんにかなり強い口調で聞かれたよ。あの晩、高野さんたちと一緒にいなかったか、シオンに会わなかったかって。大石さんは俺たちが4人一緒にいたところを見ていたようだった。
警察にしてみれば、高野さんたちが最後に会った人間ということになります。
Yeah, I think for Oishi it's just much more the
私
murders.
たちに興味を持つのはある意味当然でしょうね。
こっちもごまかしたけど、かえって興味を持たれたかもしれない。
There was no way I could have tricked that sly old fox Oishi-san. My troubled countenance would have only made him more certain.
なあ、シオン、警察なら行っちゃってもいいんじゃないのか？
No.
むしろ俺たちの状況を思えば、警察を味方につけるのは
That
プラスだと思うぞ。
did not work out too well last time. Shion didn't answer right away. For a few moments, all I could hear was her breathing as she thought about it.
そういえば大石さんはミオンに何らかの嫌疑があるなんて言ってたような気がする。
Oh, I don't know if Shion wants Oishi to be looking into Mion either, though. I mean, they are sisters. They're both Sonozakis.
確かにそう言ってた。
昨日も話しました通り、園崎家はひなみ沢に強い影響力を持っています。大石は一連の連続開始事件を園崎本家が中心になった村ぐるみの犯行だと疑っていますから。
園崎家が中心になった村ぐるみの犯行？
Please, don't get angry like you did yesterday, and just listen. Exactly. I hammered that home before I got too upset.
ひなみ沢のダム闘争の時、リーダーシップを期待された神主があまりに日和見だったので、園崎
Okay.
本家が首謀者になって決起したんです。
Rika's father.
戦いの歴史についてはお姉から聞いてますよね。
What kinda?
ああ、ひなみ沢全体で一丸となって戦ったんだろう。デモをしたり、裁判に訴えたり、テレビに出たり。
実際はもっともっと過激なこともたくさん行われたんです。園崎本家が水面下で様々な違法な抵抗活動を行ったと
Okay.
言われてます。
Makes sense, I guess. But, I mean, okay. I don't know. I guess... I'm thinking, like, in terms of, like, there are Sonozakis in, like, legislature positions and stuff even, you know, right? Maybe they didn't have that much control back then? I don't know.
違法な 抵抗活動？
Yeah, what do you mean exactly?
例えば夜中に建設現場に忍び込み機材を盗んだり壊したり建設重機のガソリンタンクに角砂糖を入れたりとか。
Okay.
ガソリンタンクに砂糖？
Does that make it explode?
なんでそんなことを？
知らないんですか？戦争中にフランスの地下組織なんかがやった典型的なゲリラ
I don't know about that. I don't know. I would assume that would be bad, but
砂糖を入れるとエンジンが
Okay.
焦げついて壊れちゃうんですよ。
that's pretty bad though, isn't it? It was destruction of property and nothing less. Okay, who cares?
建設現場への監視が強化されると今度は工事の重要な立場にある人間への攻撃に変更されました。例えば工事
What do we mean by
を現場
attacking?
たちには様々な脅迫が行われました。それは県庁の役人だけでなく建設省の偉い役人にまで及んだそうです。
Okay. Oh,
聞いた話では
okay.
子供の誘拐までやったとか。
Oh, what do you mean?
誘拐？
ええ、建設省のひなみ沢ダムを担当する偉い人の子供が神隠しにあったんです。
Ooh, kamikashi, not onikashi.
で、ある日突然、ひなみ沢のもっと上流の高津戸の山中で保護されまして、犯行声明はなかったって言われてるんですけど、ダム工事を中止するようにとの脅迫があったのではないかと囁かれています。他にも枚挙にいとまがないほどの脅迫の話があります。
それは確かにちょっとやばいな。
Yeah, that is sort of bad, yes.
そんな最中だったんですよ。第一の事件、現場監督のバラバラ殺人があったのは、園崎家が主犯格の男を買収したのではと囁かれてますが、何しろ今日が逃走中ですからね。
When she put it that way, the Sonozaki family definitely seems suspicious.
犯人も口封じで消したんじゃないかって大石は思ってるみたいです。当然ですね。身内である私ですら、園崎本家の暗躍があったのではないかと思ってるくらいですから。
Okay. So I guess Shion really just has, like, almost no connection to them, right? Like, she doesn't know. So I guess she wouldn't really care if Oishi looked into the Sonozakis at all, right? Like, because again, it is weird, of course, that Mion is the one who's going to be taking over, and then Shion is, like, basically completely disconnected from them.
それを俺に信じろってのか？ミオンの園崎本家がそんな悪いことをやってきたと信じろというのか？
ケイちゃんが信じなくても村人たちは信じてます。自分たちが綺麗な抵抗運動をする陰で園崎家が汚い抵抗運動をしてくれた。自分たちの矢面に立って戦ってくれたんだってみんな思ってます。ですからちょっとしたダークヒーローとして崇められているんですよね。私が知っているのは本当に一部だけだと思います。
I mean, we know, like, Mion got criminal charges and stuff, right?
例えば誘拐なんかの特にヤバい話は当主のバッチャーを含め、ほんの数人しか知らされてないと思います。園崎家は秘密主義ですから。
秘密主義か。
A family so unforthcoming that even Shion, who is related to them, doesn't know everything about them. The Sonozaki family. Unlike Shion, her older twin, Mion, was deeply involved with everything, and that was not a fun thought to entertain.
そういった違法な抵抗運動の中心として年少ながら活躍したのがお姉でした。
Wasn't she like 10 years old or something? Like, what do you mean?
ミオンがどういうことだよ。
Exactly.
うちのお父さん、ヤクザの大物ですから、年少のお姉でも若い柄の悪いのを何人も従える。
What does that mean?
さまざまな嫌がらせや妨害をやってのけたんです。
ミオンが
今はなんだかのんびりした雰囲気だから、器物破損から脅迫、暴行まで一通りこなして何度も補導されたんですよ。子供ですからすぐに釈放してもらえたみたいですけどね。お姉は自分の年齢が武器になることを知ってたみたいです。
It may have been indiscreet, but I couldn't help but chuckle dryly. She may have been young, but she was certainly still Mion. Even back then, she had already been known for her craftiness.
笑い事じゃないです。真剣になってください。
悪い。そんなつもりじゃ。
Shion had gotten pretty angry at
ま
me.
あそんな不良娘だったお姉もいつの間にかそのだけ本家の重鎮
So that's why. Okay.
大石がバラバラ殺人以降の事件を疑いたくなるのもまあ無理ないことです
For a few moments, I was dumbstruck at the tales of Mion's past. None of them matched the image I had of her. A younger Mion, dirtying her hands with all sorts of crimes, giving the dam construction project hell. As the successor to the Sonozaki main family, she was always right at the center of the vortex of strange incidents occurring year after year. Was that really the Mion I know? Maybe the one I know isn't the real Mion? I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't bring myself to accept these images of Mion I was hearing from another person.
まあ話を戻しますお姉が注意に値する存在であることは理解してもらえたと思います注意してください
I didn't want to understand. Mion was a fantastic friend. She would never do something to back me into a corner like that. Okay, well, oh god, I guess. She did ask me pretty harshly about the night of the festival, but even that, it wasn't like she'd said it in a mean way or anything.
わかった。気をつけるようにするよ。
私とお姉は血のつながった姉妹ですが、
Mm-hmm.
その崎家にあってはまるで格が違うんです
And like, you know, no matter how much I hate Shion, like, of course stuff like that kind of excuses her behavior in a way, right? Like, Shion's kind of like gleeful, essentially kind of bullying of Mion in terms of like the Keiichi situation makes more sense if her relationship with Mion has always been like this, right? Where Shion is the inferior one and Mion's like better, you know? So, I guess I understand, Ugh. That's how I sum that
と
up.
ても遠い存在だということを認識してくださいお願いします
The more Shion tells me about Mion, the less I understand who Mion is. The Mion I know wasn't a dangerous person. She joked around, smiled a lot, and was full of passion. Now that I'd realized I held such a view towards her, Shion was telling me to change it. To be more careful around the best friend ever. To doubt her. The idea was very sad and painful.
で大石の件ですがケイちゃんがいいと判断するなら必要な情報を与えればいいと思います
If you say
やはり
so.
警察を味方につけるのは私たちに有利に働くと思います
やっぱりシオンもそう思うか。
ただ今説明した通り園崎の人間はそもそも警察に睨まれているんです特に大石は園崎家が丸ごと連続事件の黒幕だと決めてかかってますからねそれはもちろん私も含めてですですから私はあまり大石には関わりたくないんです
Okay, makes sense, yeah. I see. If Ueshi-san had found out about the Sonozaki family's strife-filled history, then he probably wouldn't be very happy with Shion either. At last, I understood... God, I can't speak. At last, I understood Mion's instinctive dislike for Ueshi-san.
どうせバレてはいるんですが一応私の名前を伏せておいてくださいそれだけ守ってくれれば大石には何を話しても問題ないと思います
I'm gonna write something down that I don't know if it's gonna be relevant, so I'm not gonna say it. But it's something that might matter. How's that sound? Does that help? Okay.
わ
That's
か
all.
った。伏せるようにするよ。
警察の捜査力は今の私たちにはとても心強い武器になると思います
I don't have much faith in the police's investigative ability,
大
unfortunately.
石が興味深い話をしたら私にも聞かせてくださいね
ああ、もちろんだ。情報は互いに交換し、高野さんたちを殺したのは誰なのか、そして俺たちを狙うのは誰なのか、それが分かるまで、俺たちは自衛しなくてはならない。
Yeah, better go get that
あ
bat.
とはありますか大石に聞かれたこと以
Gonna
外
tell her about
身
Rika?
に起こったことはどんな些細なことでも教えてください
Do you tell her about Rika? Like, I'm worried that because she has formed this wedge now between Keiichi and Mion, which it could be founded, it could not. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. Shion obviously would be biased against Mion in the first place because I don't think they have a very good relationship. I'm curious what Shion would think about him, like, relying or trusting Rika at all. Because Rika's obviously in a similar position of being a powerful person in the village in a way, right? Aside from my discussion with Ueshi-san? Oh. Should I tell her that I revealed everything to Rika-chan? Rika-chan was acting like she knew something I didn't. She told me to leave it to her, but what? Oh yeah, you're supposed to leave it to her, dude. Like you're telling Oishi? Oh, that's right. When I was talking to her, I mentioned Shion's name too. I didn't even realize that. Like, he's supposed to just keep meowing. Right? He is supposed to just keep meowing. And what is he doing? He's gonna go tell the cops everything that happened. Like, I trust Rika so much more than Oishi. Was that a mistake? I felt like Shion would get angry.
何もないんですかケイちゃん
I remained quiet for a little while, so Shion encouraged me to speak, unable to bear the silence.
え
Oh god, I don't know. I don't know if you should tell her or not. I literally don't know. I feel like I trust Rika more than Shion or Oishi, so... As I struggled with what to say, Shion addressed me instead.
ないようでしたら私から聞きたいんですけど私もついさっき聞いたんですが君よしのおじいちゃんが行方不明になったって
Yeah, a dog bit
本
him.
当ですか
The old man Kimiyoshi? My gut told me that was the name of the mayor.
村長さんのことかなんだシオン聞いてないのか
She lives in Okinomiya.
何も知らないですお父さんが電話でそう話してるのまた盗み聞いただけですから
I realized I shouldn't have said that. Here in Hinamizawa, the things that happened around this time, when Orishiro-sama's curse would occur, would all be covered up.
ああ実はな昨べ会合の後家に帰ってこないとかで南沢中で大騒ぎになったんだ村中で探したみたいだけどまだ見つかったって話は聞かないな警察も探してるはずなんだけど
なんでそんな大事な話を
Oh god!
くれなかったんですか
Whoa! I mean, okay, like I guess, like right, because that is, sure. She shouted angrily at me, bringing all her emotion to bear.
悪いもう知ってると思ってたんだよ隠す気なんかなかった
The receiver was silent. Did Shion get mad again and hang up?
おいシオンもしもし
ケイちゃん私
What? Huh? Okay, like, I get, maybe, okay, here, maybe like, because, we know that Kimiyoshi was like a father figure to Mion, maybe they had that relationship with Shion too, because they were like twin sisters. So maybe Shion's just real upset that was bitten by the dog. Shion's tiny, confused voice sounded like it belonged to a different person than the one yelling a few seconds ago. Right, like if she has a personal relationship with Kimiyoshi in some way, it makes sense why she'd react like this. Like, I don't understand why it would mean this much more to her than it does to, like, us or Keiichi.
どうした
Did I read that? Shion's tiny, confused voice sounded like it belonged to a different person than the one yelling a few seconds ago. I don't remember if I read that or not.
話せよ俺たちの間で隠し事はなしだろ
Shion hesitated for a long while, but then she
ごめん
confessed.
隠すつもりはなかったんです
Uh-huh.
その言うのが前後した
Didn't mean to hide what?
俺たちは仲間だろ怒ったりしないから正直に話せよ
Does she know something about Kimiyoshi's disappearance? She must, right? Shion still hesitated for a few moments. Then, in a resigned voice, she continued.
私君吉のおじいちゃん
Oh, God.
打ち明けたんです
Okay. Okay. Shion seemed to think I would yell at her right after she said that, so I heard her catching her breath. Contrary to what she thought, I was a little relieved. Shion had done the same thing I had when I confessed everything to Rika-chan. So, in as gentle a voice as I could, so as to not set her off, I
君
responded.
吉のじいさんってのはシオンにとって相談できる心安い人なんだろ
はい私のことを
Yeah.
小さい頃から本当に可愛がってくれて
Shion felt the same pain as the rest of us from the mayor's disappearance. She had a very different kind of strength than Mion, and as she continued, her voice sounded truly sad and
私
pained.
いつも意地悪なことをしてたのにいつもニコニコと笑って私の言うことは何でも聞いてくれて本当に優しい人だったのに
落ち着けよシオン別に死んでしまったわけじゃないそん
Oh,
な簡単に諦めるなよ
I think the dog bit him. Shion didn't answer. Even as I said it myself, I didn't think we'd ever find the missing mayor again. We probably wouldn't even figure out if he was alive or dead. Shion must have been thinking the same thing.
村長さんに私最後でに忍び込んだこと打ち明けたんです誰かにそれを見られてて私たちを狙っている人がいるって
村長さんは高野さんたちがまともじゃない死に方をしたのを知ってるのか
Probably. He probably knew about that before he disappeared, right?
知っていましたあの二人が 社様のたたりで死んだから、私はその怒りを鎮める生贄にされるんじゃないかって本当に率直に言いました。
ああ、それで
君吉のおじいちゃん怒らなかった。そしてにっこり笑って、シオンちゃんがちゃんと反省して、
Okay, sure.
鬼隠しになんかなるものかって本当に笑いながら、任せなさい。
Until Shion stopped sobbing, I was unable to find any words for her. I couldn't imagine what kind of person the mayor was, nor what Shion's relationship with him was like. But like, who would kill the mayor? Like, how would the mayor... unless, like, the mayor learned this information and tried to do something with it, told someone else about it or something, and then that resulted in his death, right? Like... Words of comfort, however, mean so much to us when we're about to be crushed by anxiety. Today, Rika-chan taught me that too. If someone who gave me such a sense of security were to disappear, then I could guess what kind of shock Shion was in.
私が打ち明けてしまったから。
よせよ、シオン。シオンのせいじゃないよ。
私のせいなんです。私が打ち明けてしまったから。君吉のおじいちゃんが知ってしまったから。だから殺されてしまったに違いないんです。だって打ち明けてすぐなんですよ。打ち明けて大丈夫って言ってくれたその晩に。
He found out, so he became involved.
話すんじゃなかった。これは全部私たち4人の動画だったはず。
Oh God.
他人に話してはいけないことだったんです。話したから殺されてしまった。だから殺されてしまった。打ち明けたから殺されてしまった。
おい、待てよ。そんな奴なら打ち明けた村長を殺す前にお前から先に殺すに決まってるじゃないか。順番が違うよ。殺されるなら俺かシオンが先、他の奴らが先に死んだりするものか。
順番はあります。私たちを一番最後に殺すつもりに違いない。
Man.
は？なんだって？
人を思い殺さないで。親しい人たちから順々に殺していって。
If you say so. Jesus Christ.
落ち着けって。シオンは今。
Yeah. It reminds me very much of the way Keiichi would like spiral in Onikakushi, right?
村長の失踪はシオンとは関係ない。無関係だ。高野さんたちの死とも全く関係ないんだ。
Of course, he's saying that because he just wants to convince himself of that. My words came out as a scream, as if I were shouting them at myself. Yeah. Because he was thinking the same thing in Onikakushi about how he can't tell his parents anything because then they would be involved. She repeated the same thing as before, as though she were in a delirium. Despite my trying to console the crazed Shion, for some reason, the shadow at my feet began to freeze. From that shadow, a cold arm reached out, so cold it seemed like it would freeze even my heart just by touching me, and grabbed my ankle. The heat generated by my body, the arm was absorbing it. It was a horrible chill, a freezing cold, numbingly frigid. It was an inviolable... do I know that word? What, like, hello? Like, huh? Inviolable. Wait, how do you say that? Inviolable. I have never heard that word in my life. Like, it's gonna be loud, I think.
Inviolable.
I have never heard that before in my entire life. There's no way I have. I guess, I don't know, I guess you learn something new every day. Though I sympathized with Shion, I had been naive in thinking it was something only she had to worry about. In my head, Shion's eerie words repeated again and again. He was killed because I told him. He was killed because he found out. So is he gonna start thinking this about Rika? But Rika already knew, right? I confessed everything, so he was killed. Those words echoed through my head like a monotone mantra, and finally, those even repetitions took on meaning. The quiet shaking that had already overtaken me turned into a violent shiver that shot up my spine.
Rika-chan! Rika-chan だ!
今、なんて言ったんですか?
俺も 実は打ち明けたんだ。
Okay, but she already knew. She already knew. She already knew. Right? Like, it's fine. Like, it's fine. She already knew.
リカちゃんに今日。
リカちゃんってリカちゃまのことですか？フルデ神社のリカちゃま？
そうだよ、リカちゃんだよ。俺もどうしようもなく不安で打ち明けたんだ。
I don't think Shion's gonna like this at all. Because, like, think about why Keiichi was saying he would be scared to tell
そ
her.
うしたらリカちゃまはなんて？
The cat is worrying too much. I'll do something about it for sure. That's what Rika-chan said, and then she smiled. She smiled, just like the missing mayor had when he encouraged Shion. There's no way Rika's gonna, like...
シオン、俺ちょっとリカちゃんのことが心配になっちゃって。
はい、そんなに心配でしたらぜひ電話を安否を確認してみてください。
Oh god, right now?
ああ、そうさせてもらう。
また明日もこのくらいの時間に連絡します。それをもって私の安否確認としてください。
わかった、待ってる。じゃあな、すまん、切るぞ。
I put down the receiver without waiting for Shion to say goodbye. The danger to Shion and myself was secondary at this point. My sixth sense was bearing alarms in my head. I don't like this feeling. It's really bad. It's definitely bad.
無事でいてくれ。
She's definitely fine, right? Like, she has to be. Like, she has to be fine. I don't know, how is it dark outside already? Is that the end of the... Oh god, is that the end of the chapter? Because this is going to be the longest video of all time if it's not. Okay, that is the end of the chapter. Oh, man. Let's do the tips. Let's do the tips. Let's get it done with. Let's get it over with, shall we? Here, let me save real quick just in case. It's weird that we aren't ending on, like, the end of days, you know? Like, obviously he's going to go... I want to see what happens to Rika. I want to continue so bad. Scrapbook 8 or whatever. The three families in modern times. As previously described, the three families council today is a mere shell of democracy. In reality, it is a dictatorship run by the Sonozaki family. But the Kimiyoshi and Furude families are far from their former glory, and it doesn't seem at all like they've maintained the ancient traditions. Only the Sonozaki family has retained their glory from the past and has inherited many colorful traditions from the age known as Onagachi village. Even the most recent, verifiable examples of Watanagashi that occurred at the end of the Meiji era seems to have been done under the orders of the Sonozaki family. That's terrifying. Refer to the three families' genealogical tree from the late Meiji. At the start of the Meiji era, the Sonozaki family wanted to push the development of Hinamizawa village, so they took a strong role in leadership. During the Dam Wars a few years ago, the Dam Wars, the Kimiyoshi family served as the chair of the opposition alliance, the Onagachi Guardians, but this was in name only. In actuality, the Sonozaki family reigned as the leader behind the scenes. People whisper that perhaps the Kimiyoshi family dictated acts of opposition that could be publicized, and the Sonozaki family enacted those which could not. Even in Hinamizawa, they whisper that the multitude of unsettling incidents reported during the dam protests, such as the kidnapping of the famous head of the Ministry of Construction's son, had been carried out by the Sonozakis. Additionally, they say that perhaps the Sonozaki family's secret maneuvering was responsible for the serial freak death incidents that have continuously occurred in recent years as well. The serial freak death incidents are without a doubt the second coming of the traditional Watanagashi. They must be enacting the Watanagashi on the day of the original Watanagashi, which has fallen to the level of an ordinary village festival in order to remind the villagers of the holy laws of Onagachi village. It's safe to assert that exploring the Sonozaki family is the fastest route for researching it today. If I can expose the contents of the Furude Shrine storehouse, I'd like to narrow my research targets to the Sonozaki family next. The Sonozaki house is strictly guarded by security cameras on the premises, but thankfully I become acquainted with the sisters Mion, the next heir, and Shion. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess she did know them. I want this to be a breakthrough I can connect to my next line of research. Well, you're not gonna get to do that, unfortunately. You got burned alive in a oil bin thing, so unlucky. Their punishment isn't over. That doesn't sound good at all. Why is it? It's at the festival, though. That's weird. Oh, no, it's not? Okay. One of these again.
なぜか年計のガソリンスタンドの請求書に化けちゃうんですよ。だから遠慮しないでもう一杯飲んでいけばいいのに。
The man, red-faced, waved his hand to say he'd had enough, and disappeared into the brilliant neon lights in front of the station.
クマちゃんも勉強しといてくださいよ。 謙虚な人が結局一番長生きするんです。
さっきの話。
さて、それはわからないですけどね。真偽はともかくそういう話がまことしやかに流れてるってことには意味があると思いますよ。
Okay.
そんなのが村長を狙う動機になりうるんすかね。
熊ちゃん、いつも言ってるでしょ。動機っていうのは、
Yeah.
その本人に十分でありさえすれば足りるんです。
It can be a motive that's completely insane and doesn't make any sense to anyone else, right? Like Keiichi killing Runa and Mion.
価値観の違いをよく考えなくちゃ。
Assuming, like, Hib was, like, hallucinating and stuff, right?
あ、お母さん、もう一杯ください。
Though we have already been suppressing the information, Tomitake and Takano's deaths were already known throughout Hinamizawa. All of the rumors pointed to them having incurred the wrath of Oyashido-sama for setting foot in the Forbidden Temple, the storehouse for ritual implements. According to the rumors, there were only two people who went in there with them, Shion Sonozaki and Keiichi Maibara. People were whispering in the shadows that those two would be cursed by Oyashido-sama as well. Apparently, however, the responsibility didn't fall solely on the four trespassers' shoulders. Until last year, it was locked up tight, but this year it had been changed to a simpler lock. Hadn't that been what allowed thieves to enter so easily? Those were the rumors going around.
熊ちゃんは見たことありませんか？私はずいぶん前に何かのようで行った時に見たことをよく覚えてますよ。
すみません。ちょっと思い出せないっす。
そりゃもうおっかないくらいに厳重に施錠してありましてね。重そうな缶抜きでしっかりと塞がれていて。
He had to go there for something a while back? What do you mean? Right? Because we know he visited Rika's mom before the priest's death that year, right? That was that bizarre tip in Onikakushi where they said that Oishi is the messenger of Oyashido-sama. This year, it was a very simple and cheap padlock. The lone girl protecting the shrine, Rika Furude, disliked the heavy locks and consulted with the mayor, who replaced it with a simpler padlock. Oh god! There's no way though, right? She's a Furude. I mean, like, come on. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh god, I am terrified. I am terrified right now. I don't know. I want to play more so badly. But this video is almost 2 hours long already. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take a break. I might play more. I might not. You will be able to tell by how long the video is. If there's more after this, then I did decide to keep playing. If I didn't, then this will be the end. So thank you for watching. Leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Or I might take a break and play more, and then this video will be even longer. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. So, yeah. Alright, we are indeed continuing. Although you guys already knew that because you could see the video length. So, longest video of all time. Let's go. After hanging up on Shion, I searched for Rika-chan's phone number on my school's contact list. There it is. My fingers trembled with urgency, and I failed multiple times to put in the simple 5-digit number.
Keiichi, こんな時間に電話?
Oh, so it is late.
夜遅くは先方に失礼だからよしなさい。
今はそれどころじゃないんだよ。
I just shouted angrily at my mother, listening to the dial tone. Okay, let's calm down. Pick up, come on, pick up. The time was 11 p.m. Oh, it's way too late. Hello? It certainly wasn't early. It was essentially the middle of the night. Had Rika-chan already gone to bed? Her phone would be ringing constantly, though, so would she get back up for me? Rika-chan, she didn't pick up. She didn't pick up. She didn't pick up. Maybe she just happened to miss it. Maybe her bed was just, too far away from the phone. The sound of a phone ringing gets clearer and clearer the longer you go on sleeping. Then, the bathroom? Yeah, she must be taking a bath. Okay, I guess. If that was the case, then even if she heard the phone, she wouldn't be able to pick up. It was a little late to be taking a bath, but it was possible she normally took baths right before going to bed. If you say so, I'll wait 30 minutes, then try calling again. Pick up? No? Nothing. Even as I was thinking that, I called her house over and over again. I kept calling. Over and over, again and again, I kept on calling her, but she didn't pick up even once. I think I kept trying for about 30 minutes. Yet she wasn't picking up. Oh god, are we gonna go there? Does Keiichi know where her house is? Were my phone calls so persistent that she hadn't gotten scared of picking up the receiver? No, that couldn't possibly be it. There was no point in doing this any longer. The best thing to do would be to go there in person. Where was Rika-chan's house, though? Shit, I've never even asked her where she lived. I feel like I had the idea that she just, like, lives near the shrine, right? Or, like, on the shrine grounds, basically. Because that was kind of my whole idea with, like, Sadako living with her, too. And, like, because we know that Rika makes Sadako's, like, school lunch every day. And obviously both of their parents are all dead. so Sadako's aunt, so she doesn't have anyone, so. Her residence was written there in the contact list, but it was an address with mostly numbers, so I couldn't tell where it was just by reading it. Isn't there a map or something in here? Rika Furude. Her last name was Furude. It was a bit of an odd last name, so it might be easy to find. Thinking that, I rummaged around the drawer with the phone book, but could only find things like takeout menus and phone numbers for public establishments. Shit. You can't ask your mom. I tore one thing after another out of the drawer, but I didn't come up with any clue as to where Rika-chan's house was. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. And I can't ask her because she's not gonna let him go in the middle of the night, right? If you don't know, then just ask. Ask someone who does know. Okay, go to Rena's house in the middle of the night, I guess. I looked up Rena's phone number on the contact list. Rena Ryugu. There she was. Is she gonna answer? But yeah, please, I do want to talk to Rena, please. Oh god, that is a scary voice. It was the voice of a grumpy-sounding man. Oh yeah, Rena's probably asleep, like... It must have been Rena's father. I'm calling in the middle of the night. I need to be polite. Ooh. He calls her Reina. That is very interesting that he calls her Reina. I don't like his voice. Oh right, Reina Ryugu was her real name, wasn't it? Well, kinda. I'd gotten so used to calling her Rena that hearing her real name caught me a little off guard. I would say Rena is her real name. Okay. She's gonna think it's weird. Rena seemed a little appalled that I call her for something like that at this hour. However, she spoke her next words seriously, as if she'd caught on how urgent my need was. Yeah. I don't remember what all it was. I just feel like I already had figured this out, that they lived there. I don't remember why, though. There was something else, though, that made me... I don't know, it's not like a big deal, right? Was it something in a tip or something? Is that why I know and Keiichi doesn't? I don't remember. I couldn't immediately visualize the place, but as long as I knew she lived on the shrine grounds, I just have to take a look around. Rena asked in an unusually sharp way, halting me before I could hang up the phone. I wish you could talk to her and tell her what was going on, but now he can't, right? Now he can't because he thinks whoever he tells is gonna die, so he can't. I wish he could talk to her. I hesitated for a moment about whether to tell her. He was killed because I told him, yeah. Rena affected her usual tone, but beneath her words lay a certain tension, like she'd intuitively sensed something was going on. What will you do, Keiichi? If it's Rena, can't I tell her? He was killed because he found out. I revealed everything, so he was killed. Rena asked me once again in a tone so forceful I couldn't imagine her ever using it normally. I was taken aback by her vigor. Rena was Rika-chan's friend, too. She had the right to be concerned about Rika-chan disappearing. If I told Rena, then, even if only for a moment, I could drive away my horrifying fears. Rena's tone was seriousness itself. Just from that tone, I could feel her saying, "No matter what you say, Keiichi-kun, I'll believe you." That subtle sense of security gave me the courage to reveal the truth. Stronger than a premonition. I really didn't have time to go back and forth with Rena about this. Still, I think listening to her calm voice soothed my pointless impatience. Yet I still hesitated. I had told Rika-chan that we had snuck into the ritual storehouse. The mayor, to whom Shion had confessed before that, had already disappeared. So it was possible that Rika-chan also. I didn't know how to explain it to Rena. While I was tongue-tied, Rena spoke up. Rena laughed a little, seeming a bit absent-minded. I wasn't exactly in the mood to laugh, so this time I was dumbfounded. Rena continued in a cheerful yet still purposeful tone. Okay, yeah, sure. Rena, thank you. What's it? Never mind, okay. You said 30. Oh, okay. Yeah, so Sadako is there. Okay. Yeah. Sadako's entire family is dead, so. Rena understood that the situation wasn't normal far faster than I could have ever imagined her to. It made her seem dependable. However, the fact that Rena had acknowledged this also meant that the best case possibility of it all just being the result of my own needless fears went out the window. God, that is a long sentence. Okay. Sounds good. Thank God. God, I love Rena. She is amazing. Can he do that? Oh, God. Can't do that. Really can't do that. My thoughts froze for a moment. Oh, God. Shion had just told me to be careful around Mion during our phone conversation a little while ago. If the Sonozaki main house was somehow lurking behind the surface of the annual freak deaths, then the current heir to the family, Mion, wouldn't be uninvolved. So, wouldn't that mean she wasn't uninvolved in what happened this year to Takano-san and Tomitake-san, and also the mayor's disappearance? God, I gotta check something real quick, sorry. Okay, we're good. That's all Rona said before hurriedly hanging up. Oh, she didn't say anything? Okay. Okay. Is she just gonna call Mion then? Like, okay. Now wasn't the time to be doubting Mion. I needed to make sure Rika-chan was safe. Oh God, I am terrified. I got changed and grabbed the key to my bike. I figured things would go more smoothly if we met up in the place we usually do at before school. Rena wouldn't need to come all the way to my house. Okay. My parents would probably have objected if I told them I was leaving, so I creeped out without a word. The night was unusually warm and disagreeably humid. Oh, yeah. She said that Rika-chan and Sadako lived together, right? And it wasn't only Rika-chan. Sadako wasn't there either? Yeah, if neither of them were there, that's weird, right? Why would neither of them be there at midnight? Realizing what them living together really meant caused my thoughts to immediately take a turn for the worse. It can't be. Sadako she's got nothing to do with any of this. Even if there were a reason for Rika-chan to disappear, there shouldn't be one for Sadako. Oh god. Rena was really fast. She approached me on her bike at amazing speed. Her breath was ragged, painting a clear picture of just how hurriedly she'd been going.
Oh, Rena.
We gotta go. Well, yeah, why is that such a big deal? Rena's expression was all business. Was she mad? It came out of the blue, and I faltered for a moment. To be fair, he isn't supposed to be alone. Rena doesn't know that, though. Rena shouted, clearly angry. I'd never seen Rena like this before. Does Rena, like, know what's up? Rena seemed to notice she was scaring me. Took a couple deep breaths, then continued as if admonishing me, but her expression didn't soften at all. Yeah, God, her voice is so different right now. She's... For real. Okay, so, like, I don't... And, like, Shion just said the same thing to him, and I guess Rena doesn't even know that he's, like, a specific target, or that he thinks he's a target, right? So... But, like, I guess that makes sense. I began to understand where Rena's anger was coming from. He did not. Oh. Is he gonna lie to her? He's gonna lie to her. Rena was perfectly level-headed in this emergency situation. Yeah, how different she's talking, you know? Ever since the night of Watanagashi, every night someone had died or disappeared. On the night itself, Takano-san and Tomitake-san met strange ends. On the next night, the elder vanished. Now, on the next night after that, Rika-chan and Sadako were nowhere to be found. I hadn't been thinking of anyone but myself, but it wasn't enough to say that Hinamizawa was a little weird at the moment. It was, in fact, extremely strange. Runa had even anticipated her own disappearances, and had told me to tell my family where I was going. I was embarrassed at my own carelessness, and the need to be embarrassed made me afraid of the night. Oh, thank you. With Runa beside me, I wheeled back towards my house. But they were gonna tell him he can't go. Ooh. The moon seemed strangely high in the sky. A sky that was uselessly vast and cold. So no matter what, it would never seem to me like a dream. This cruel fact had already confronted me. On such a crazy night, Rina had been unimaginably dependable. God, gotta close Discord. I keep getting distracted. People... Come on. There we go. Okay. Rina is literally the goat, and it is insane, actually. Hinamizawa's metamorphosis, enough to make Rina caution me against carelessness, was, to me, the most fearsome thing of all. The moon seemed strangely high in the sky. I wish he would tell Rina. Hi, Mion. We met up with Mion on the way, and she, of course, was unsure whether to believe me about Rika-chan and Sadako's disappearance. Mion was clearly displeased. If this were a joke, it wasn't very funny. I understood how indiscreet my words were. Ever since the day before yesterday, someone had either died or vanished every night. Rika-chan and Sadako disappearing after all that was something you just couldn't say, even in jest. It'd be better than the alternative. Yeah. I am very worried. However indiscreet a joke it may have been, if we learned that our friends were safe, it would end up as nothing more than a funny story. Having been warned about that by Rina, Mion gave a dry smile, the tension she felt loosening a bit. She mounted her bicycle as well. Our 3 bicycles' lights flashed down the pitch-black roads. They were some of the only illumination outside. It's just wandering around Hinamizawa at midnight. You can't tell her. Mion asked me the same thing I had trouble explaining to Rina. God. I couldn't quite tell because it was dark, but I thought I could see Mion smiling very ambiguously. I definitely understood she wasn't convinced, though, despite the darkness.
俺さ、うたた寝してる時に悪い夢を見ると、どうしても気になっちゃうんだよ。
ケイチ君はそれでリカちゃんがさらわれる夢を見たわけかな。
Something like that.
いや、もっと漠然とした予感みたいなものだよ。リカちゃんが電話に出てくれたなら、レナやミオにも続けて電話するつもりだったよ。
Lies smoothly babbled out of my mouth, makeshift though they were. I was lying because I thought telling them I was connected to Shion would be like silently admitting we'd stolen into the ritual storehouse together that night. Mion didn't press me any further. I don't know whether that convinced her. Or maybe she figured that making sure Rika-chan and Sadako were safe would be faster than making an issue out of it. I felt relieved and immediately a little guilty. Mion hadn't really been acting any differently these last few days, but I'm still trying to distance myself from her for some reason. It was only because of what I heard from Shion and Uishi-san, that she was the successor to some kind of super extravagant gang family. No. Was I just trying to force myself to forget? Don't do that, Kichimebara. Wasn't it Mion who was the first to ask about the night of Watanagashi? And such a harsh tone at that? Have I already forgotten the terror I felt? At the time, Mion looked like someone different from the Mion I knew. Not this again. When I think about that Mion, then Shion and Uishi-san's depictions of Mion made a tiny bit more sense. We're back. We're back to having multiple versions of people. It's all over. That's it, isn't it? If it wasn't for how she acted that day, then I wouldn't be feeling this way towards her now. What on earth was going on with her back then? I was conveniently thinking only of everything she had done after that, while disregarding the very first thing. The thing I should have been looking at most, wasn't I? Mion was pedaling her bicycle in front of me, her long hair fluttering in the wind. No matter how I looked at her back, it never gave me answers to any of my questions. We're here. We went all the way to the stone steps leading up to the shrine grounds. Of course, we weren't going to want to haul our bikes up there, so we parked them by the side of the staircase instead. I guess when they all disappear and die, that'll be good evidence.
みんな公園みたいな感覚で勝手に出入りしてるけど、本当はここは古出家の立派な私有地なんだよ。
So the entire shrine is private property. It really makes you feel the passage of time. 10 or 20 years ago, it would have looked the exact same.
だとすると、古出家って結構な旧家なんじゃないのか?
Goes back to the beginning of Onigashiji.
代々続いた由緒ある。
ない。おかしいよ。
Runa had said something clearly disquieting, so I ran over to her.
どうしたレナ?
リカちゃんとサトコちゃんはいつもここに自転車を止めてるはずなの。
Where would they go? I mean, where would they have gone? Like, I have no idea. Rika was crying behind the barn, or not the barn, the shack, right? And I think it's the same shack thing that Keiichi had wanted to get a bat out of in Onikakushi. Is that related?
ほら、どこにもない。
I took a look around. Indeed, there were no other bicycles aside from the ones we'd taken to get here.
他の場所に止めてる可能性もあるんじゃない？例えば、担いで石段を上がったとか。
女の子には無理だよ、ケイチ君。
Yeah, it would be rough. Just as she said that, I couldn't imagine Rika-chan and Sadako lugging their bikes all the way up there. We hadn't yet knocked on Rika-chan's door, but reality was already sparking some ideas that weren't what you'd call good. Maybe they were just parked under some trees and we hadn't noticed them. I refused to believe that not being able to find their bikes here was proof that they disappeared. God. We all nodded and dashed up the stone steps. We passed through the red arch and came onto the shrine grounds, which was covered in neat gravel. It was so quiet here, as though the Watanagashi festival had never happened.
リカちゃんたちが住んでいる家ってのはどこにあるんだ?
こっち、ついてきて。
Oh God, please, Rena. Rena took the lead and sprinted off. We went towards the assembly hall behind the shrine, then looped around behind it. In the darkness of the night, we found a small prefab 2-story shack that looked like a warehouse.
明かり消えてるね。
Why are you smiling?
寝てるんじゃない?
What is that face, Mion?
ノックしてみよう。
Okay, I guess Rena's doing it too. Rena and Mion neared the shack, which didn't really look like a place people would live. They had such a beautiful shrine, so I figured they live in an equally beautiful house. It was far from what I'd expected. Rina shouted up towards the second floor. Her voice was restrained at first, but it steadily grew louder. No answer. In fact, there wasn't any sort of activity in the house at all. Mion banged on the shutter with both her hands, and the loud sounds echoed into our surroundings. They would have to notice this much noise. They would turn on the light in their room, fling open the windows, and yell, "What time do you think it is?" That, however, wasn't happening. There was absolutely no response. Mion stopped slamming her fists on the shutter, and a sudden silence fell over us. The silence aroused terrible thoughts in us. I could feel the blood draining from my face. Oh, God. Rena showed no signs of stopping. It didn't look like she would admit they were there until we went inside and saw for ourselves. That refusal to give in gave me strength. If you say so. How are you gonna get up there? Mion brought over a ladder that was standing against the house. Sure. The footing was a little unstable for me to be climbing on it, but Mion held the ladder firmly in place for me. I hadn't climbed too many ladders. My inexperience with them exposed, I climbed up one step at a time and tried to open each window on the second floor. Oh God, don't separate. Please don't separate. Oh God. Rita darted away. What? A main house?
古出家の本当の家だよ。両親が亡くなって以来、ずっと放置してあるそうだけど。
あ、そうか。リカちゃんのご両親って亡くなってるんだよな。
Actually talking about it. At that point, I recalled something else. Wasn't Sadako living here too?
サトコも親なしだよ。親代様のたたりってことで。両親が崖から落っこちてね。
Interesting she would say it's because of the curse. As an Onikashi, she said she didn't believe, right?
お兄さんだったサトシ君もいなくなっちゃって。
サトシって前に聞いた名前だな。
I just realized we are alone with Mion right now. This is our first time in a while like that. I remembered. He was the one who disappeared last year because of the curse.
それ以来、サトコはリカちゃんと一緒にこの小屋で暮らしてるんだ。
Just alone?
互いに身寄りのない一人ぼっち同士。
Man.
助け合ってね。
本宅って言ったか？そっちで暮らした方が楽だろうに。
The curtains were drawn, so I couldn't get a good look inside to see, but two young girls living together seemed like a pretty tough life.
初めはそうしてたみたい。でも、両親を思い出すから辛いって言って。
That's why she forgot, right? I had no idea. I feel really bad for them. They're normally so cheerful at school that I never even realized an atom of this.
リカちゃんもサトコも大変なんだな。
So does Mion, I bet.
呪われてるんだよ。
Oh, okay. Suddenly, Mion said something in such a low voice that it sounded like she was really cursing someone, and I didn't let it slide. So when I said that Rina shouldn't separate, what I meant by that was that I was worried about what would happen to Rina, because she's alone, right? I didn't mean that Mion is about to decapitate Keiichi. I didn't think that's where we're going, but clearly that is what's happening. So that is good. That is really good. About how we're supposed to be being careful around Mion, and now we are alone with Mion at midnight in the middle of nowhere. That's good. That is good. With her holding up the ladder that you're standing on. I turned around on the ladder to face her and asked again.
Mion, お前、今、なんて言った？
呪われてるって言ったの。
Mion, still holding onto the ladder, brought her head up to look me in the eyes. As soon as our eyes met, an absolute zero jolt of electricity surged through my body. Good. Good. So Rika is the one who was cursed, according to her. Which is very interesting. What does that mean, though, right? Like, I mean, I guess, like, that... Them being the ones who are cursed would make sense, right? Like, that would be why people around Rika and Sadako keep dying, you know? The idea that it's the person who is, like... That makes a lot more sense to me than the idea that they're somehow, like, involved in the murders, right? You know, whatever that means, and being cursed, right? Like... Mion's eyes clouded over, and within them boiled and bubbled, a stew of chaos. They whirled around and around like a raging sea, and bubbles floated to the surface. I had at some point been trapped on this ladder, like being cornered on a dead-end street. Good. I intended to follow that up with, "You're going too far with this joke," and give her a forced smile. However, on such uneven footing as I was, the only thing that came out of my mouth was a hoarse groan as I desperately struggled to not let nausea overwhelm me. Oh, Sadako, not Rika. Mion's answers, with a response to something I never asked, as if replying to somebody else's question. Treated her like dirt. Treated her like dirt. Like they were abusive? God, come on, why is my pen not working? Okay, yeah. Man. Okay, and that makes me think even more that it was Satoshi who did it, but sure. On her birthday, so it wasn't on Watanagashi. Man. God, I just don't know what to think. Because, like, obviously Mion saying all of this, like, when we just got all this information that, like, makes us think that Mion has something to do with the deaths. But now she's saying all this, right? Like... God, it's like she's crying. It's like she, like, is feeling what Sadako felt. Like... I mean... Oh. Okay, never mind. She's feeling what Satoshi felt, huh? Jesus Christ! Okay. What? What is happening? Like, we have gone from me thinking that Sadako is like an unrelated third party that has just like been wrapped up in the situation to everything is Sadako's fault. I just have no idea. I don't know what to say. This has come so out of left field. I just have no clue. Like, Mion was mumbling words over and over that were no longer coherent. Her shoulders were trembling so hard that I could feel it through the ladder. I almost lost my footing, which made me realize just how far away the ground really was. I wasn't sure if she even heard me. Mion rocked back and forth, and that rocking and trembling was becoming even more violent. Help me. The ladder, it's falling. Help me. Help. Just then, I heard the sound of many people running towards us. Tell me it's Rena, Rika, and Sadako. I very nearly said help me outright. 4 or 5 adults, led by Rena, ran over here with flashlights. God damn it. Okay, alright, sure. Yeah, why not? Okay, yeah, we're good, we're fine. Nothing happened. Is Mion being possessed by something? Is Keiichi hallucinating again? Is Sadako cursed? I have no idea. I have no clue. Because it happened to Rika's parents too, right? So you're saying that just happened because of Sadako? And if Sadako was cursed, wouldn't you think it would be Rika that died? And I guess if Rika's parents died before Rika and Sadako even lived together, then you can't blame Rika's parents' deaths on Sadako. When I heard Mion talking like nothing just happened, I again felt a chill run through me. The person currently holding the ladder in place, it was definitely Mion. It was the real Mion Sonozaki. Then, the person muttering to themselves just a few seconds ago. Who was that? The person who was mumbling about terrible things like curses. Who was that? I jumped down from the ladder as if running away, before Mion turned into that person who wasn't Mion a second time. That might be a good place to stop. You know, we finished that scene. This video is, like, ridiculously long, so... I mean, there's no way I was going to go through this entire chapter 2. Even if I really want to keep going, I probably shouldn't. So... I have no idea. I don't know what to think. We've certainly gotten some new information now. That is for sure. I don't know. I have no idea. Couldn't tell ya. I don't know. So, for the second time, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I will see you in the next one.